Listen,
you.
I want you all to know that help is on the way. Help is on the way. As you stated, we plan on getting that Biden rescue plan, that bill on the floor of the House of Representatives next week. We are racing against time. That is absolutely true. But here's what I know for a fact. The American people elected Joe Biden because Joe Biden promised to deliver on COVID relief. We have to crush this virus. We have a $1.9 trillion package that will deal with everything from rental assistance to food security to providing $1,400 per person up to a maximum of $5,600 per family. It's critically important that we get help right now. You know, we are in Selma, Alabama, my hometown, and we know the fierce urgency is now. It's now. Now for the people of Texas who are on top of dealing with COVID, are dealing with being frozen pipes and unable to have drinkable water. It's really unacceptable. But I know that Biden has a compassion. This president will do all that he can with the assistance of House Democrats.
One idea being floated in the Senate, included by some Democrats, is to phase out checks for individuals making more than $50,000 a year. You called that proposal unbelievable and said, quote, in other words, working class people who got checks from Trump would not get them from Biden. Brilliant. Obviously, you're being sarcastic there. It's clear you don't support it. You heard Janet Yellen earlier in the show. She said, obviously, she thinks that somebody who makes $60,000 a year should be getting these relief checks, but she wasn't willing to commit to $75,000. Where do you think the cutoff should be?
Well, I think what we have done in the past and what we have promised the American people, we've said two things in the last month. We said we're going to get you $2,000, and that's $600 plus $1,400. And what we're going to do is say that everybody, a single person, individual, $75,000 or lower, and a couple of $150,000 or lower will be eligible for that full $2,000, $600 plus $1,400.
Now the breaking news, everybody, is the House Democrats just released the details of the full $1.9 trillion bill. In the House Budget Committee Chairman John Yarmuth, the Kentucky Democrat, said, "We are in a race against time, and aggressive, bold action is needed before our nation is permanently scarred by the human and economic cost of inaction."
To go forward, we have got to act now. That is what the American people want. Now, as you know, reconciliation, which is a Senate rule, was used by the Republicans under Trump to pass massive tax breaks for the rich and large corporations. It was used as an attempt to repeal the Affordable Care Act. And what we are saying is, you use it for that, that's fine. We're going to use reconciliation, that is 50 votes in the Senate plus the vice president, to pass legislation desperately needed by working families in this country.
We have the plan in the fiscal space. We have the American people behind us. And now we have to get the bill done. Now the bill also includes $350 billion in state and local government relief, an extension of $400 federal unemployment benefits, additional money for small businesses, and funding to help reopen schools and vaccine distribution. Now Joe Biden defended the size of the $1.9 trillion package during a speech at a Pfizer plant in Michigan. He said, "Critics say my plan is too big, that it costs $1.9 trillion. They say that's too much." But the president asked, what would they have me cut? What would they have me leave out? Joe Biden also expressed hope that Republicans in Congress will listen to their constituents. He cited a poll that shows his plan has broad public support from both sides of the aisle. A poll from Quinnipiac University recently found that 68% of Americans supported Joe Biden's relief package. Everybody tell me in the comments down below, do you support a third stimulus check and a third stimulus bill from Congress? Leave a comment down below saying yes or no. But folks, so far, the relief package has zero Republican support. On Friday, House Minority Whip Stephen Scalise urged Republicans in an email to vote no on the bill. Democrats plan to use the budget reconciliation process to bypass the Senate filibuster and pass the bill with a simple majority. The proposals in the bill, released Friday, have already been passed by individual House committees over the past several weeks. Now folks, the House Budget Committee will meet on Monday to mark up the package before handing it off to the Rules Committee. And the package is expected to pass. In this stimulus package is expected to be voted on by the entire chamber later next week. Yesterday, the Nevada Department of Employment announced that the Continued Assistance Act will we'll be extending the federal unemployment programs from December 27th, 2020 to the week ending in March 13th, 2021. Now folks, the CARES Act created the PUA program in 2020. Self-employed people and gig workers could collect up to a total of 39 weeks of benefits. And the original PUA program expired on December 26th, 2020. In regards to Social Security benefits and SSI and SSDI payments, you can claim your benefits as early as 62 years old. The earliest age at which you can start receiving Social Security benefits is 62 for most people, and 60 for those who claim survivor's benefits. The largest share of Americans, about 35% of men, and nearly 40% of women, claim at age 62. If that's your plan, understand that claiming early carries a penalty. One you'll pay by receiving smaller monthly checks for the rest of your life. That is all the news in today's video, everybody. Hopefully you guys found this useful and helpful.
Now, when people said we don't want rich people to get that benefit, I understand that. I agree. And what we need to do is have a strong cliff so it doesn't kind of spill over to people making $300,000. And that's what I support, and that's what I think most people understand. But to say to a worker in Vermont or California or any place else that if you're making, $52,000 a year, you are too rich to get this help, the full benefit, I think that that's absurd. And it's also, from a political point of view, a little bit absurd that you would have under Trump these folks getting the benefit, but under Biden, who is...
as well as I hope our Republican colleagues will help us across the aisle, because the American people are hurting, and they're hurting unequally. We know that disproportionate amount of the burden of the pain is being felt on communities of color and underserved communities across this nation. But I truly believe that help is on the way, and that we will do all that we can to make sure that we pass this legislation and enact it into law.
So I want to hone in on minimum wage. As you know, that's a huge sticking point in the COVID relief bill. We heard President Biden speak about it. You, in 2019, introduced a bill for regional increases in minimum wage, but you've since evolved since the Democrats have taken control of both the houses, or both the House and the Senate and Congress. Do you think that the minimum wage hike will live? Will it survive as the COVID relief bill heads to markup in the House next week?
I sure hope it does. Look, I was also a original co-sponsor of the Raise the Wage bill that the Representative Scott did. The reality is that we are now in control of the House, the Senate, and the White House. And I know that my constituents deserve a livable wage. The fact is, in the state of Alabama, we're still stuck at the federal minimum wage of $7.25. It's simply not enough for anybody to live off of, and we must increase it. I do believe that the cost of living here in Selma, Alabama is different than the cost of living in New York City.